Hi, I'm Dr. B from the Behavior Bootcamp. Has anyone ever had that experience where you're working with someone and, oh my gosh, they bite you or they jump out to bite you? So what are some things that we can do to help when somebody wants to bite? Well, the biggest thing that we say, and we often talk with our staff about this, is if you're working with someone who bites, the best material to wear is either corduroy or jean. And we wear those pretty often if we're working with an individual that may bite. And the reason why is because that texture in the mouth is very uncomfortable for a lot of people. So they won't bite typically once they've bit into that material at first. The other thing I want to say is that my reaction, screaming, and usually what I do is I go, ah! And I fling the person off of me when I'm getting bit, which is the worst reaction of all to have because it just reinforces the behavior. Having such a big reaction, so much feedback like that is just, it's almost humorous to the other person. So even though it's not meant to be reinforcing, it ends up being a reinforcing behavior that I'm doing. So trying to have very limited or no reaction to it, and then talking about at transition time, saying, when the person's transitioning to another area, oh wow, you were really safe today, or you were able to not bite, I'm so impressed, and those sorts of things when they're not able to actually bite you. And the reason why we start this at a transition is because they're less likely to do it to the person that they're transitioning to or to the area that they're transitioning to. So we would say it then, and this works for behavior change all the time. Needs a lot of feedback. You got to get tons and tons of feedback about that behavior, whether it's saying you had a safe body or you were able to be safe with friends or whatever it may be. You have to be able to demonstrate that with that person and really give them a ton of feedback. Once you've given them lots of feedback at that transition time, then you're going to use that feedback at the time when that behavior might normally occur. And if you don't have that behavior, then you know you're on the right track and that behavior is probably going away. I will also say, biting tends to be one of those behaviors that comes out of feeling really helpless. So if the person doesn't feel like they have any control over things, they will oftentimes resort to biting. It also is oftentimes an indication of needing more proprioceptive feedback. So it could be possibly have the person move items around or rearrange the furniture or fill water bottles or do any of those sort of push, pull, lift sorts of activities prior to an activity that might be one that might engage more biting. So we've actually seen an increase in biting. A lot of schools have asked me about biting recently because it happened. And sometimes for individuals where they work in schools where maybe you wear the sleeves, oftentimes as soon as you take the sleeves off, that's when you get bit, which is why we don't do that. And instead we wear jean jackets or corduroy jackets and things like that, because they help to naturally extinguish some of that biting without giving feedback to that behavior and actually providing a signal as to when the biting should occur. So let me know if you have more comments or questions or things to add to that, or if you found a great way to keep someone from biting. Join us for more tips and strategies at www.thebehaviorbootcamp.com.